Hello.
We on? Oh, my bad.
I'm just confused. That's supposed to be funny?
Yeah,
Because it wasn't.
it was funny.
No,
Laugh.
it really wasn't
Why
at
you
all.
laughing? Why you laughing?
Not funny at all.
You laughing?
All right, let's see. What are we doing? What are we doing? You came up. I'm trying to copy the links and stuff. You know how we have to do. Um, and share them. All right. Hmm. Okay. His doorknob came.
Here comes some footsteps down the hall.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this is your topic. You picked
Yeah, see how
one of the
why you
topics today.
always do this?
So you picked. I have another topic I picked also, but this is yours. So, um, we're gonna talk about yours first.
Why you always do this? Okay, we'll go. You start.
No, you go because you said does your partner love respect you if they cheat. So I'm not really sure where you was going with this one.
I was just asking a question.
Okay, but do they?
I don't know. What do you think? I don't think they do. So
Okay, why
I just
not?
want to. You tell me why. I want to go off of you. Why I can't go off of you? Anyway, I don't think. First of all, and this is coming from a person that used to do all the wrong things again, people. And I don't say that to glorify it. Uh, I say it to
Wait, when you say
comfort.
wrong things, what do you mean?
Cheating. I used to be a habitual cheater, and I'm not saying that again. Can you
Clarify that, please.
Not on you, not
Okay.
on her.
Okay.
Okay, Jesus Christ, crease. I don't say Christ. I say crease. Yeah. Prior to my marriage and my relationships, I used to be a habitual cheater. So I don't say that to bring it to light or to glorify it. I say it to say that I look at things totally different. And when I think about my actions, uh, as far as that, I'll bring it from two places. Uh, First part of me, when I was doing it, you know, never really got caught, but I can honestly say that I didn't respect the people that I was with from by cheating because um, I don't think that you can love somebody, truly love or respect them by cheating, especially you can't. It's not respect because how do you say that you love somebody and go out and give yourself to somebody else because the love that you have for that person or should have for that person shouldn't even allow you to see anyone in a sexual manner or any other way uh, other than a friend or whatever. But then it steps to cheating, right? So you have to befriend the person, or you have to have the conversation, befriend the person, so on and so forth. So in those steps, in that process, when does the person that you supposedly love come into your mind or come run through your mind like, well, no, I can't do this, or no, I shouldn't be doing this, or no, that's my man or woman or husband or wife at home. um why doesn't when the conversations come up of exchanging phone numbers or inappropriate conversations or buying a drink or anything, why doesn't that person ever run across your mind? You should. I would think that if you respect and love them, that should be. When I was doing those things, it wasn't. It was totally disrespectful because I would do things and I would go home and whoever I was with just be in the bed like nothing happened. That's that's definitely not respectful. The actions that I did prior and the things that I was saying, even on Facebook, uh, wasn't respectful. Um, then I looked at it differently than I do now. Then it was me having fun. Then it was that's what men do, um, because that's what was instilled in me from not that my parents taught me that, but society and hanging around my friends. So my answer to that would be no. You can't if you if you respect the person that you love, then there's no way you should be able to cheat on. Because I couldn't go cheat on her and then come lay in the bed, and I couldn't go cheat on her and even come home. I couldn't go cheat on. I couldn't even feel. I don't even feel right when I'm in the gym. And it's look. I'm not saying I'm perfect or nothing like that, but I just changed my mindset on everything. There's been times when we was working out and I'd be in the gym, and this is when we were like super big, and we was losing weight. And I would see a woman, like she'll have a nice like body as far as bodybuilding or whatever the case may be, and I would look at her and I would feel bad. And I wasn't looking at her in a sexual manner. I was looking like, well, dang, that's how my wife is going to look. And I told her that, like that, I just felt bad looking at her. I wasn't looking at her because I wanted to get a phone number. I thought she was attractive or anything. I was looking at her because I knew what the goals were, and I thought that my wife's body, her frame, and everything else would look good like that, and that's where she's probably gonna look at the end results. And I felt bad for that. I felt like I was doing something wrong, and was I no? And I told her, right? So I don't because I felt bad is my point. I respected her, uh, and I respected my marriage so much that because I felt bad, I had to tell her what I was doing. So I don't again, I don't think that you could, if you respect somebody uh, that you love, you can't cheat on them. There's no excuse for it. I just read something that she sent me earlier that said, what did it say, that love and uh, love and cheating doesn't they're not the same, so don't have anything to do with one another.
Yeah, it did say that.
And I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree with that because if you're emotionally disconnected, fix it.
Hmm.
If you sexually disconnected, fix it. If you're financially disconnected, fix it. If you can't fix it, leave or part ways. There's no reason for cheating, and I was never one to think like that. But there's matter of fact, if I cheat on her or vice versa, if either one of us cheat on one another, that doesn't, because she cheats on me, that doesn't give me a pass to go back out and cheat on her, right? Either I leave or we try to work through it, which I'm leaving, and I expect her to leave heels on her foot. But there's no reason that if I cheat on her, that because I cheated, she should go out here and sleep with somebody else. Because now it's a character thing. It's a in my opinion, it's okay. It's a moral thing. It's a morality thing. Because even me cheating on her, she should love me and herself enough not to try to hurt me like I hurt her. Maybe that's easier said than people, and I honestly, truthfully believe that because I would never, if you hurt me, I would never want to hurt you because I still love you. Because you hurt me don't mean I love you. Because you hurt me don't mean I have to stay with you either. But you should never want to hurt somebody that you love. So that's my opinion.
Okay. I agree with him. There's some schools of thought on this, right? About cheating and still loving someone. You will hear the majority, I think, or a lot of therapists and life coaches and psychologists say, you will know someone can cheat and still love a person. Um, but in my opinion, I look at it from two different ways, right? So just looking at it from a purely Christian view, in a Christian way, I don't think it's possible because if you look at First Corinthians, um, it talks about love and it talks about all of what love contains, everything that love encompasses, right? And if you look at just the different ways in which love is described, how love is patient, love is kind, and then it ends with, of the greatest of these things is love. So if you look at love from a Christian perspective as to be one of the greatest things there is, um, loving God and loving thy neighbor as thyself was what the two greatest commandments. That I don't think it's at all possible to truly love someone in the truest sense of the word and actually cheat on them. But even if you're not, super religious, or even if you think like, oh, well, okay, that's Christianity, there's also another argument that you can put forward. So they talk about love as love not being an emotion, right? So they said love is not an emotion. You can feel love, but it's definitely not an emotion. It's a series of acts that leads to an emotional bond with your partner, right? So it's not an emotion, it's a series of actions that lead to an emotional bond with your
I
partner.
never knew that. I
Well,
always thought love was an emotion.
even if you think of love in that manner, um, you have to ask the question like, okay, if I have an emotional bond with my partner like that, how is it possible that I can cheat on them? And I'll tell you what I mean by that. There's been for years this theory about attachment bond, right? Bond theory, attachment bond. Travis Hershey is a sociologist who came up with that idea. Now he applied it to juvenile delinquency and what youth would do if they had certain attachments, or what people would do if they had certain attachments in the community. One of those attachments were, like if you had an emotional attachment or attachment with your parents, that there are things that you wouldn't do even if you were not in your parents' presence, because you are always emotionally attached to them. So you're constantly thinking about, if I do this, it's going to disappoint my parents. If I do this, it's going to blah, blah, blah. I think you can extend that to this emotional bond that they're talking about that you should have with your partner through these series of actions, right? Because if I have an emotional bond with my partner as such, I don't care if I do feel like there's something going on in our marriage. It would be really hard to, even outside of my partner's presence, it should be impossible to look at someone else, engage in a sexual intimacy with someone else, with that partner, with your partner coming into your mind all the time. Like if you have that emotional bond with your partner, there's no way you can get past that. You shouldn't be able to get past that. It should be, even if you went as far as to, you see somebody in the bar, you get the number, the emotional bond should be kicking in where it's like, yeah, but I'm not gonna call, because if I called, it would destroy him. If I called, it would do this. So you can be mad, you can think there's so many things lacking in your marriage, but that emotional bond makes you think about how your partner, how they would feel should you engage in something that they wouldn't expect you to do, or should you engage in something and act like cheating. And so when I think of love in that sense, and in the truest sense of from coming from that perspective, a purely a psychological and a sociological perspective, and then also looking at it from a Christian perspective, I just don't think that it's possible to love someone, to be in love with someone, to love someone, and to, in the truest sense of the word love, I believe, and cheat on them. Now I think some people may feel like they love a person and cheat. I do think that. I think a person can think that they love a person and go cheat.
So,
but I think that the fact that you were able to cheat should demonstrate to you in some manner that, yeah, that you probably don't love them in the way that you should be loving them.
yeah, because and it goes, and I put respect in there again, because as I said earlier, when you think about the process of cheating, right? Like, the odds of anybody just walking outside and then all of a sudden no words are said or nothing and they just having sex is slim to none. I would probably say that's unless they're getting,
Yeah, even though they show it in movies, it don't really happen.
They
like
don't
that.
have, unless they're getting, excuse the term, but the big R word,
Sexually assaulted. Or
yeah,
something, yeah.
sexually
Right.
assaulted. That doesn't happen. So again, I put respect in there because you wherever you're at, whether it's the grocery store, church, we're pumping gas, a conversation has to ensue. Um, for it ever, for it even after the conversation ensues, then it's a trickle effect of everything else until you taking your clothes off. If we're talking about the sexual act, as far as the emotional thing, it's the same thing. A conversation has to ensue. Yes, I get it. That person may make you uh, feel a way that your partner is not making you feel at the current moment. Um, uh, but out of respect for what you and your partner have, whether you're married or in a relationship or, well, whatever, out of the respect of your partner, you shouldn't even allow the conversation to go anywhere else. If you need to talk to somebody, that's what they make therapists for.
Well,
Like at the
yeah,
end of
but
the day. So
I'll even propose. I'll even go as far as to say that it may be possible to love someone and even take the steps to, like I said, like getting somebody's number. But at some point, that emotional bond
but
should be kicking in, where even after you've gotten that number, you feel guilty, and then you sure as heck don't follow through with calling or anything else. Because, like you said, there's steps to it, and I'm saying, like at some point, love would make it so that something kicks in where that emotional bond comes in and says, okay, no, I can't go through with this. I'm not going to do this. Yeah, I'm pissed off, but that's not the way to handle it. Or yeah, I'm disappointed, or yeah, I'm not happy, but this is not the way to handle it. I'm not going to handle it this way.
well, I don't. But so again, I go back to the respect word. Out of respect, you shouldn't even be taking the number,
Well,
right?
yeah, but
I'm not
that's
going
why
to
I don't
say
think.
that. I'm not going to say that. That doesn't mean you don't love the person because you got the number. But at that juncture right there is disrespectful.
But I don't think. But I don't think the two have to be. I don't think just because you respect someone means you love them. And I
I don't.
don't think respect carries as much weight. Again, I go back to the Bible saying that the greatest of all things is love. I don't think respect carries as much weight as love. Because I think you can respect
Oh,
people, and then in a moment you can lose respect for someone.
now
And you
I
can
agree to that.
disregard that respect because
I
you're so pissed off. Because I think respect and having respect for someone is more of an emotional thing, or than love is, right? So I think now I think that love demands respect. So I think if you love someone, you can't help but to respect them. But I don't think you have to be in love with someone to respect them, if that makes sense. I don't think it goes in the reverse. I think you can respect a person.
hold on. Say that again. You don't think what now?
I don't think I think that you can respect a person and not necessarily love them.
But then, can you love somebody and not respect them?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying love demands respect. So if you love someone, you have to respect them. But I'm saying respect can be there without love.
Oh, yeah, it can be there without love.
That's what I'm saying. Respect can be there without love, because
But
you can
I gotta
respect people
respect
that
you.
you don't even really know like that. Like I can respect somebody at my job.
I
I
get
don't
you.
mean I love
You're right. You're right.
them. I mean I'm respectful,
Well,
but
I'll say
I'm
this.
saying like there. I don't think the respect thing is, if all it took was respect, you wouldn't have anybody
Well, I
really
don't know.
cheating.
With me, I
Um,
have to respect you before I can even feel as though that I could get to a point of wanting to be faithful and monogamous to you, and even to a point of being in a real relationship. This is like, and I'll use you and I for instance. Uh, I respected you and always told you that your presence and demeanor for any man with substance would it demands a certain type of respect, or it commands a certain type of respect, or from them, right? So well, I would think anyway. For me, I felt that from you. So in trying to change or whatever, I had to respect you.
yeah, but
Uh,
respect wasn't
yeah,
love.
but no, but it led me to loving you, because if I didn't respect you, it would have been a whole different situation.
Right, but I'm saying the respect by itself though wasn't enough.
And what I'm saying to you is if I didn't have the respect for you, period, I would have never got to the love
No, I
aspect.
get that, but some people don't have to have respect to get to love. So that's not.
Well,
I mean, that may be just how you
well,
operate, but
well,
not everybody has to operate like that. What I'm saying is that the respect wasn't enough. You could count respect as one of the actions that they said, those the many actions that lead to that emotional bond, which is considered love. But respect in itself is not necessarily love.
no, I'm not saying
Respect in
respect.
itself don't keep people from doing things.
Well, I would. It should.
No, don't, because well, okay, when did you start respecting me? I'll give you a good example.
Uh, I mean, I can't give you the exact date, but I respected you from the beginning. Um, which is the reason that it allowed me again, it allowed me to fall in love with you. But I can't give you the exact time. I
No, no,
respect you
no.
from the start.
From the start, which is what? When you first talked to me on the phone, when you first met me in person, I mean, just around about.
The admiration started from talking to you on the phone and seeing, learning, about uh, uh, your kids and how many kids you had and what some of your trials and tribulations and the things that you overcame, and then as far as like being an attorney and having 8 kids and you know still pushing forward to get to to get your own practice and then moving down here, so that respect started growing more and more and more,
I get that.
right?
Yeah.
So and then even what you had to go through with the other person, it that I mean I started respecting you even more and more and more from that, from what you had went through to where you were at and the process that you were taking to heal yourself. So then my respect grew even deeper for you. So that was like, yeah, I can't do certain things. Hence the reason I was saying that, although we kind of differ on that, we were just friends because I didn't want to be like, okay, let me lead her on, say she my girlfriend, and then I got whatever going on over here, and because that would have been to me totally disrespectful. So, my respect and admiration grew
So then
and turned
respect
into the
to
love.
you is then subjective.
Huh?
Respect then would be subjective.
What do you mean?
The respect doesn't, to you, it doesn't encompass certain things that are the standard for respect. Because other people would consider what you were doing disrespectful.
What I was doing?
Yeah, and they would say, "Well, how are you saying you respect her
Well,
if that
that's
was
I
so?" I'm
mean,
saying so. Like you can't say
so
that
I
to
guess
just
you can say it's subjective because in
right.
my mind, and as we talked about it, I could see why somebody would say that. But in my mind, I was doing things differently from what I had done before. So to me, I was respecting you by doing things differently and not handling it like I would handle other people that I didn't freaking respect. Like if I ain't respect you, just been sleeping with you and whatever happens,
Okay,
happens.
but then now
So
that you love me, you would never do something like that.
no,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's a difference. Respect. People can play with respect in whatever way they want to, or look at it in all these different subjective ways. So respect doesn't necessarily equate to, oh, I respect that person, so I won't cheat on them. For them, respect could just mean, well, I'm cheating on them, but I ain't letting it come to my house.
yeah, and that's a bunch of BS. I've
But I'm
seen
just
that all
saying,
the time
but
too.
I'm
But
just saying, like that's how people can define respect. That's why respect, I'm saying,
well, I guess I
it's
see why you're
not
saying
the
it's subjective. But
and it's not the
and again, I
keeps
mean,
people from
like you
cheating.
said, it's subjective, I guess. Then, but it operates in a it operates differently. It's subjective for different people, and it operates in a manner of for me again that I just have to respect somebody. Matter of fact, what happened with the job, and this ain't got nothing to do with relationships. If I respected him, I wouldn't have responded to him like that, right? So if for me again, and I get it, you said it's subjective,
Mhm.
and I would think that with I don't see why I'll say it like that. Why most people wouldn't think that respect is actually that turns into love. Like It doesn't.
No, I don't think anybody's saying it. I don't think that's the argument. That's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can have respect and not love, though. You don't necessarily have to have respect in order to have love. You can have respect without love. And depending on how somebody is defining that respect, they can respect someone, or in their mind, well, for what they define it as, respect someone and cheat on them.
I get that, but you can't respect. If you married and in a relationship, you can't possibly respect somebody and cheat on them. I don't, and say you love them. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying respect without the love.
Well,
Everybody's respect don't lead to love.
Yeah, well, how are you in a relationship with somebody that you just respect?
A lot of people are in relationships with people that they just respect, that they don't really love.
Nah, I'm talking about significant relationships. Now, I ain't talking about somebody that just met and been together for 2 months now, or a month or something like that. You've been with somebody
in a relationship for 4 years, living with somebody,
and I guarantee you, they tell them they love them.
Did you?
What? I tell you, I love you like.
No, I ain't talking about me. There's people that's been in relationships for 4 years. Some people consider that significant.
I mean,
they don't really love the person.
Yeah, but I said it a couple times.
Yeah, but that don't mean you don't really love the person.
Said, but all right, no, you're right. 110%. Okay. You're right, but I still said it.
I don't care. There was some disrespectful things you was doing. There
was a whole lot of disrespectful things.
Okay, so you did. So I'm just saying. So you
talking about previous marriage. You talking about
the other one too. Do something just saying. Like I said, in the truth of the definition of the word, loving someone according to how the Bible talks about it and through Christian principles, or loving someone even according to like this emotional bond theory, and still engage in cheating. I don't think that's possible. I think there are some people that can think that they love someone, or there's some people that know dang on well that they don't love someone, nor do they really respect them, but they're in relationships with them, and they're doing all on top of disrespectful stuff, even though their mouth is saying that they love them.
No, I'll agree to that, but I
I'm just saying.
It's a no for me.
I mean, you're a living example. What's a no for you?
I just don't think you can respect or love somebody and cheat on. So
respect and love someone, or you don't think you can respect someone and cheat on them?
Well, I don't think if you're married, I don't think that I respect. Well, so I guess it'll change a little bit too then, because then I'm talking about not only respecting you, but respecting our marriage. So I don't think that I can respect our marriage or you, cheat on you, and say that I love you. I just don't think that's possible. Because once my disrespect or someone's disrespect starts, then to me the love goes. If I'm telling you, and if we're in a relationship and we're both like literally telling each other we love one another, or married, especially married, telling each other that we love one another and we're sleeping in the same bed, we're living as a married couple, there's no way I respect you if I allow myself to go out here and talk to another woman, to have sex with another woman, to build another emotional connection with another woman. It's just no way possible I can honestly say that I love you. Because if you catch me
I get the love part. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying you
can't say I respect you neither. What part of that is respectful?
I'm just saying that depending on how someone defines respect,
what part of that is respectful? What's part of
again? So some people may think they're being respectful because they're not doing anything to bring it to their home. They're not doing anything to disrupt their house. They're still taking care of their partner.
You know what they're doing? They're making themselves believe that.
No. I get that, but that's why I'm saying.
But that's not respectful. Then that person is not respected.
But that's why I'm saying that you can You can't tell somebody how they define respect.
I can tell you that you crazy as hell if you think as long as I don't bring somebody here and
I'm saying
sleep in
you
the
can't tell
house and all.
someone how they define respect.
I can tell
I
they're
think
crazy.
that you have told me before in the past, like earlier in the relationship, you respected me. But again, I think there were some plenty of things you did that I thought would is considered disrespectful. I didn't see them as you respecting me. You did. And I'm sitting here like I don't know how he think that's being respectful, because that's not respectful at all. You justified it as being respectful.
Well,
It really wasn't
but we
respectful. So
technically went,
it's the same
but we
thing.
technically went in a
No,
relationship.
it's the same thing as you talking
But
about somebody
we
saying they're not
technically,
gonna bring it to their home. You were doing. Don't do
we
that.
technically went in a relationship.
That ain't the point. It was
That is the point.
you.
I just said in a relationship.
See, Jermaine, no, you try to be.
I did.
Funny.
We can watch this
You
back.
being
I clearly
funny.
said
You
that
being
if you're
funny.
in a relationship with somebody,
Okay.
now the things that I would
No. We'll go to when we were in relationship. You still saying you respected me, and you did some disrespectful stuff. And I'm not talking about cheating or anything, y'all. You wouldn't do. But I'm saying you did some things that I would have considered disrespectful. So you can't sit there and say.
And at the time of being me being where I was at mentally, I honestly can tell you, yeah, it was disrespectful. I wasn't trying to intentionally be disrespectful.
How do you feel that somebody else can't see things like that? Maybe they haven't matured like that. So maybe their definition of disrespectful is similar to how yours was then. Which is why I go back to you respect someone and not love them. I think you can claim that you respect someone and cheat on them, but I don't think you can truly love someone without respecting them. I don't think you can truly love someone and cheat on them.
So the only difference we're having is the respect at our point, because I agree with you can't love somebody and cheat on them. I just don't. I don't think that part is you truly love somebody. Again,
I just don't think that you can say like because you've grown from a certain way of mindset that now everyone else's mindset is messed. You know what I'm saying? Like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, when you were there, you were using the same justifications as other people would.
I was, but even in that point when I was there, it still was that doesn't make it right because I was thinking like that.
I didn't say that, but I'm saying respect for some people is subjective, just like it was for you then.
Yeah, but I was wrong. So then my definition of respect, it was even wrong.
Well, okay, if that's what you want to say.
Now, but I just again we agree with the loving somebody, because I'll go back to it one more time. How do somebody that say they love one another, even if the person that gets cheated on goes out here and sleep with someone else? Number one, you kind of sort of explained it to me one time before, but I can't fathom it. I guess because I've never been through it. I don't see how somebody's mind can allow their body to react like as far as going to sleep with someone else because they've been cheated on. You go cheat on me, I'm gonna be destroyed. The last thing, now this is the me now, the younger version, but that I guess that's because people don't really know what love is. I would be too hurt, too devastated to even talk to another woman, let alone trying to engage in a sexual act. I don't even think that I would, in those situations, I can see how somebody could try to talk to somebody else just to try to get their point across, get their emotions out, get their feelings out. But I don't even see how, even then, if you really love that person, even doing that, just expressing yourself, how could that even lead to an emotional connection with somebody else? Because my emotions are still stuck with you and my hurt is still there. So I just don't understand that. I'm not worried about ever being put in that position.
Yeah, I think. So again, I think in the instance of true love, you don't do that. I think again, so I think there's many times people think that they love someone that they. Really
I'll go a step further than that.
Some people be so obsessed, or some people be so trauma bonded that they think that they love, and then that is not love at all.
And I'll go even a step further, because if it's true love, and then you cheat on me, and then I can't take it, we break up, get a divorce, separate, whatever we do, right? Even in that period, even if the worst case scenario you get a divorce, right? I don't even see how somebody that's really invested in somebody and truly in love with somebody, how they could. I mean, I guess everybody heals differently, but that pain, that's a lifelong pain, I guess. But I don't see how somebody go jump into bed with somebody within 3, 4, 5, 6 months, because if you really, really love, depending on how long they've been together too, I get that part. But you've been together, 4 years is a lifetime for us. We just said, in the car ride home today, like it seemed like we've been together forever. So 4 years is like it's gonna take me a minute before I was even able to look at somebody in a manner of interest, emotionally wise, sexually wise, or anything else.
Yeah.
So I don't. That's that. I don't. And we could be like I said. They got a divorce. Like I'm still, because I'm not with you doesn't mean that I don't love you. That my emotions are still raw. My feelings are still hurt. So I can't see how somebody that's truly in love with somebody. Now you're thinking like, again, like I used to think, then I can understand that because it's whatever. You don't care, like you just trying to do it. But if you're really in love and you've really been focusing on your relationship and your marriage, and it ends, how in the hell you just run to somebody else at least within a year at minimum? Like I don't even. That's minimum.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. It depends on. I mean, for some people, those are traumatic events. So I think if that would depend on all the circumstances involved, because some people actually get PTSD from stuff like that. And if you've been trauma bonded, or you gotten somebody did something like that to you, and you got PTSD as a result of it.
I'm not even talking. I'm
no
talking about
telling,
regular. I'm just talking about regular.
But even in regular relationships, or in what you would think would be a healthy relationship, I think that something like that can be so traumatizing to a person that it causes a mental break.
Yeah, but even in that, right?
But in your mental break, depending on what type of mental break you have, that will maybe dictate how you respond. Because some people may just go off and kill themselves.
Well, see, you always got to go over.
I'm just saying, like,
balcony.
Well, there's been case incidences of that.
We're talking about regular.
I'm just saying, like, you just never know how the traumatic event may impact someone, and so that's the point. I mean, you may not understand it, but that's not for you to say like how everybody else should respond.
No, I just, again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to talk about regular, everyday. We've been together. You cheated, and
no, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying even some people that are in healthy relationships, though, if they could get to the point of depression, to the point where they commit suicide or try to harm themselves. That's what I'm saying. Like, yes, you can still be in a healthy relationship and somebody just cheat on you one time.
Yeah, I get
and it's enough of a
yeah. But that would just be hard for me to understand and do. Like I wouldn't even. I don't even think that I could watch sex scenes on TV.
I mean, but think about some people have a spouse that passed away and they can't be with anybody else after that. Some people have a spouse that passed away and they try to be with everybody after that. You know what I'm saying? So like, we don't know how people respond to various traumatic events in their life. So anyway,
well, we'll agree that if you really love somebody, you can't do it.
Right. I don't think you can.
So
I don't think you can. It's almost like, because you have to premeditate that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can go. I say if you really love somebody, you're gonna always have a cooling off period. That's how they determine whether or not it's really premeditated or not. They'd be like, okay, but if you had to drive there, something should have told you not to do it. And I apply that same thing in this circumstance. If you had to dial them numbers, or if you had to actually drive to meet the person, or if you actually had to go out of your way to do something extra, you had time to think about that.
So then
what happens? Think about it.
So what happens if you meet them at the bar? You have a couple conversations, have about hour conversation, and both of y'all leaving at the same time, and y'all look at each other and just do it in the car in the parking lot.
You had to go to somebody's car. Somebody had to open the door. Somebody had to y'all had to get in the seats. You had to adjust yourself in the seats.
Yeah, but what happened to the cooling off period you talking about?
That's the cooling off period. There's somewhere in between there.
I just got there. I ain't been there but an hour. I'm still bad.
Unless it was instantaneously, you had to cool off. I don't care if that cooling off period. That's what the court says. They don't care if that cooling off period was just so many seconds. If you had a cooling off period, you had a cooling off period.
So you trying to tell me I can be mad, walking the ball, lock eyes? Oh, let's go in the bathroom right now.
You had a cool off period. You had to
When
walk to the
was it?
bathroom. You had to walk to the bathroom.
So if I walk in the bar, see you, lock eyes, and we just do it right there.
You had a cool off period.
Had to pull your pants
Somebody
down.
clothes had to come down. Something. You got to unbuckle your belt, do something. That took a few seconds. Had to be.
Oh man.
So yeah.
Anyway, but
So
if you really truthfully love somebody, man, you yeah, again, you couldn't. I don't think it's you can cheat on somebody.
you could, yeah. And then especially when you talk, and just the last thing, when you talk about the context of marriage, if you think about how marriage is designed, where you're sealed, your marriage is sealed through the physical act of sex anyway, right? So your marriage, that's supposed to be the sealing of a marriage. So no, that's supposed to be the sealing of a marriage. If you go outside your marriage and have sex with someone else, you've effectively broken that seal. Now, I think in my belief, that's one of the reasons why God allows divorce for adultery, right? And I said allows it. He doesn't say people have to get a divorce, but he allows divorce for adultery because you've broken that covenant. You've broken that seal once you went outside that marriage. Now, there's nothing saying that you can't reseal that, but that's what you have to essentially do. You have to
Yeah,
reseal that. Like that's the only way to be able to bounce back from that is resealing it. And I know a person who that happened to them. They actually got divorced. They were divorced for a period of time. Then whatever happened where they started dating each other again and got remarried. And to me, that's an example of reforming that seal.
Well, what happened with that is they both realized that these other people out here ain't shit. I'm sorry. These other people out here is nothing, and they realized what they had. So the second go around, they, I mean, I can understand it from that standpoint because the second go around, they both know. Number one, you already know the person,
Yep.
so you're starting to.
Kind of starting fresh.
Oh, what the heck? So you're starting to court the person over, and then you guys are. So the man is courting the woman again. She's probably been out trying to date somebody else. He's probably been out trying to date somebody else. It didn't work because she didn't like nothing that they had. Didn't work because he didn't like nothing that they had. They get back together and then they realize what they had, and then what happens is, to me, in my opinion, some of them old feelings start coming back up from when they first started dating, and then they got more experience with one another to not make the same mistakes that they made again. Now, I do believe that's one of them things that will last forever because, like, how's that saying go? You never miss something till it's gone.
Yeah.
And I've always said, I've always said if anyway, no, but if it comes back like that, then I believe that one can work forever.
Yep, so. Definitely. And that's not to say that I don't like. I think that people's feelings are valid, right? In marriages and relationships, where people say that they have a disconnect from their spouse, that is valid, and I think those feelings are valid. However, cheating is not the valid response for that. That's not the appropriate response for those type of things. Like Jermaine said at the beginning of this, like what you should be trying to do is fix those things, trying to figure out ways in which you can resolve those things. Cheating is not the way to
because you just add to the problem.
You're not resolving it by that. Well, all right. So then on to the next topic, or we only got a little bit of time for this one, but I wanted to touch base on it because I had been thinking about it. I thought I mentioned something about it last week. I'm thinking about it this week, and then actually one of my friends posted something asking about this. So they were like, "What's the difference between girlfriend duties, fiance duties, and wifey duties?" Right? And it's like, I know, right? But this conversation comes up so much that is like at the point of ridiculous. It's like crazy. Like, what are people talking about? Like, why do we keep talking about these wifey or husband duties and all this stuff, and people are not even married? Like, they're just boyfriend and girlfriend, or even at the point of being engaged, right? So I was looking on the internet to see if there was some insight about this. Yeah. And I saw this thing that says, deliver us from doing wife husband duties on boyfriend and girlfriend tenders, right? And I thought that was kind of funny. And then there was another article where it said feeling resentful that you're doing wife duties on a girlfriend's salary. So what do people mean by that? And this is what I've come
Yeah,
up
I
with,
want to
the
know this one.
conclusion I've come up with regards to this. Um, Longevity with a partner, or whether or not someone proposes to you for marriage, should not depend on what you do for a person or how much you do for a person. Okay, it should depend on your qualities, as a person, right? Um, you should be able to show that person that you are marriage material without what they say is considered wifey or husband duties. And what I mean by this, for
Yeah, what do you
example,
mean by that?
a wifey duty is, and a husband duty is sexual intercourse, intimacy. That's something that's supposed to be saved for the marriage. You shouldn't have to engage in sexual intercourse with your partner to prove that you're wifey material, that you're husband material. You just shouldn't. That's not something that you should have to do. That's something that should be saved for when you're in a marriage, right? Um, I'm just saying, like another
No,
example is that,
no. Yeah, what's another example?
um, for example, a guy had said something about, he made a post about, I'm not gonna pay, this and that for, what he said, I'm not gonna pay this and that for a woman. Um, it's not an obligation for me to do that just because you're my girlfriend. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he was saying. It's not an obligation for him to do that just because someone's his girlfriend. If he does it, it's out of the goodness of his heart. And so people just had a fit about that. Oh, so what is he gonna ask for sex then? I mean, he not gonna get no sex either. And I'm just like, what are y'all talking about? Like, what he said was legitimate. And somebody said, well, I need to know that he's husband material. Like, if he's not gonna be willing to help me out and hold me down financially, then why would I marry him? Huh? Like, what the heck what's that mean? How do I know that he's financially capable of taking care of me? Well, let me tell you how he can show you that he's financially capable of taking care of you. Whether or not he saves his money, how he spends his money, uh, what type of career he has, what his goals, his ambitions, whether or not he is willing to say, like, make plans or for a portfolio, financial portfolio. Those are things that can tell you whether or not he's going to be financially stable enough to take care of you. Not the fact that he's spending all his money on you. Not the fact that he's always bailing you out. Matter of fact, if he's always bailing you out or always giving you money because you poorly manage money, he's an enabler. So you shouldn't want someone like that either. If he's telling you, like, hey, I can help you out here, but this is what you maybe should do, the budget. If he's budgeting, if he's teaching you how to budget, that demonstrates that he's financially savvy and he has financial stability and he has the husband characteristics of being a provider financially. If he is doing certain things out of the goodness of his heart, saying, hey, if you get in the bind and say you have kids and the kids need to be picked up from school, and he volunteers, hey, I'll go pick your kids up from school. That's showing you husband like qualities, not the fact that he won't sit at home and watch your kids every weekend. Like, y'all, the people asking for way too much in these relationships, and then people are doing these things. They're developing resentment. And then, just like this article that I read, the girl was talking about how she was doing all this stuff for her. She was cooking every night for him. She was doing this. She was doing this. And then she started being resentful because she was like, why don't I have a ring? Why hasn't he given me a ring yet? I'm showing him that I'm wifey qualities. Why haven't I gotten a ring yet? But then what she later on figured out was that she didn't have to do those things in order to prove to anyone that she was wifey characteristics. What some men and what a lot of men were looking at was how she took care of herself, how she held herself. Did she hold herself as a person to be in high esteem? How did she budget her money? How did she do this and that? Not what she was doing for them or how often she did things for them. That is not something that you base wifey or husband like qualities on at all. So we have people that are feeling like they have to be. There's been situations where you have a girlfriend saying, "Well, he wants me. If the guy has a child, he wants me to take care of his child all the time." That's not demonstrating that you wifey qualities. Like you don't have to be a caretaker to demonstrate that. You can demonstrate wifey qualities and mother qualities by, if your boyfriend has to work, saying, "Yeah, okay, I can watch your child while you at work. That's fine. I can pick your child up for school. That's fine." Or when you all together, how you interact with the child. Not that you take on a caretaker role like you are a wife or like you are a husband. You don't have to do that while you girlfriend and boyfriend. You just don't have to do those things. And for people to sit there and try to push in people's heads that that's what you have to do to be with someone, you should not want to be with someone that's going to make it seem like you have to show them how much you're going to do for them in order for them to be with you long term. That's not it. They're more concerned about what you can do for them and what you can offer them, and they're not even thinking about how you're what you're doing for yourself as a person. So that's not it. And then again, when you do that, you develop this resentment because it may be that you're doing all these things. What did I say before? Getting an A on the wrong assignment. Like you doing all these things. Maybe that's not the person you're supposed to be with anyway. Maybe that person had never told you that they even wanted to be married. So you doing all that. Now you resentful. You not liking them because you done did all this and they not giving you a ring. Or you did all this and they're not making long term uh, goals with you. Or you did all this and then you propose and they say, "I don't want to marry you." Now you upset and resentful
All
because you
right.
should have been focusing on yourself and
I,
focusing on showing how you as a person, what you as a person can do to benefit your life, which means that you can in turn benefit their life. That's what you should be doing.
well, unfortunately, as I was actually listening to you, and you love throwing God and the Bible in, and when you put that in, it always throws a monkey wrench in for me. So I was sitting here, don't think I wasn't listening. I'm just gonna basically agree with you on 99.9% of it, maybe 98%. And what I'll say is definitely, because what happens is going back to the original thing. I mean, the first part of what you said about the sex, right? If you're doing things, uh, it it if you're not supposed to have sex until you get married, and if you're doing things the right way, well, to have sex with someone before marriage is definitely a wifely duty and a husbandly duty,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can strike that out. So if you take that out, then it's like, okay, the what people start saying is, oh, well, I don't want to be with nobody, uh, and I don't know if it's good or not. That's the
Right.
surface level of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's what the argument would be with that. Well, what do you do about that? People just are gonna have sex uh, because nobody thinks about the right way of doing it. So, well, I said all that to say this. Um, I don't know if that's a pre-qualifier. It shouldn't be a pre-qualifier of a husbandly or wife duty, right? Uh, what I will say is this: I agree with everything you said. How people can show that, from a man's standpoint, if a woman want to be taken care of, how everything you said, how he can approve that, um, he can financially take care of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, anybody with a job and you know that they're quote unquote an attorney or a lawyer. I know you said it's, I mean, attorney or doctor. I know you said it's broke ass attorneys out here, but
Mm-hmm.
from that alone lets you know that they have some type of ambition, motivation to be able to achieve things at a higher level,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that could be like you said. Everything you said on that, I agree with. What I will say is this: I don't know because I was one to think until I just heard you say like, well, you got to show me that you could be my wife, before I even propose to you. But then it goes back to like you said, what actually do the people want what are their qualifiers to be a husband or a wife?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I looked at you again, I'm just referencing you. when I looked at you, I didn't have none of those things. I did want you to be financially stable because I got tired of taking care of women, um, and spending my money that way. So that was definitely a pre-qualifier for me. It didn't have to do with sex. It didn't have to do with could you cook, could you clean, and all of that other stuff. Like, would you bring me a plate? Like, taking care of my kids. Of course, I want you to have a good relationship with the kids. Um, but so all of that didn't. It was the other things that I was looking for from you. Of course, I didn't want you to smoke. That I can't. I'm never gonna be with. Could never be with a woman that smokes. Right. I didn't want you to be an alcoholic. I didn't want you to be a drug user. I needed to know that you had a moral standard of, yeah, I'm not gonna be out in the club every weekend, and I'm not, So those are the things that let me know that you could be my wife. It wasn't about sex. It wasn't about uh, all of these other crazy things that people say. Bringing, can you cook? I need you to do this for me and do that for me. I've never been the one to say that's what I need my wife to do. I don't need a slave. I've always said that. So as I was listening to you, I actually agree with you most of the time. I mean, like 99% of that I agree with. I can't even tell you the 1% that I don't agree with. You didn't shut up, so I'm pretty sure that there's something in there I didn't agree with. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, it's ways to prove that somebody is a husband or a wife material, and I think most of that goes on their morals, though.
I was gonna say it should be more focused on their characteristics and their morals, not on what they're doing for you. Like,
right.
If a person holds themselves in high esteem and they respect themselves, right, to such a degree, then I can feel comfortable that, okay, that person probably gonna respect me too, because respect is a thing for them, right? If a person has a moral, different morals that are aligned with mine, okay, then I know that they're gonna love me like I want to be loved, because we are equally yoked, and we can show those things in so many ways other than just slaving for a person and cooking and cleaning and running behind them and all this stuff. Like, I don't understand. So I say, instead of talking about wifey duties, show wifely and husbandly characteristics. How about that? Yeah. Not duties, characteristics.
And I'll do one better than that. What a non-wifely husbandly duties or characteristics of a person. Won't you look at that? For instance, like do they sniff cocaine?
Right. I mean, seriously, like
they can be financially stable, give you all the money in the world, pay off, but they sniff cocaine. Is that really what you want from a husband?
Exactly.
Or a wife? Like, what if she like to walk outside in thongs and her bra all the time? I mean, she's more than welcome to do that. But if you have kids, or that's not part of your moral compass, then is that a wifely, a person that you would want a wife? Look at the things that they're not doing versus the things that you want them to do. That's how I would.
Right.
That'd be a good way of doing it as well.
Right. So, and another thing is showing people that you do things, the things that you do for me, you're doing them out of love and appreciation, not because you feel like I'm obligated to do this in order to get this. Like, you shouldn't feel like that. So I agree with, like, even with that guy saying, I'm not obligated to do it. If I do it for you, it's out the goodness out of my heart. But it's not your right as my girlfriend for me to pay all your bills. Like, and I agree. Like, it's not. And we just need to get away from that mindset. I think people who use that are in a way kind of gaslighting people to get them to do what they want to do, knowing dang on well that they not, for some of the men that do that, or even some of the women, they know dang on well they're not about to marry that person. But if you can get them doing everything for you like they are your spouse, then what's the incentive for marriage? Because there is no incentive at all. It's like what they say, why something about the cow in the milk.
Why you get the milk for free? Why buy the cow when you can have the milk for free?
And that's exactly what that is like. Like, if you're doing all of these things, what is the incentive for a person marrying you? You should be showing such characteristics of that person, like, I can't wait to marry them.
Well,
because once I marry them, it is on. Like, it's gonna be on once we get married. Like, but you're doing everything already.
Watch this. I would say this. I would think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I would think a woman of with morals, or some type of high moral compass, rather, it'll be more sexier to her for her to see a man with kids and him doing for his kids as if she would do for her kids,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
meaning that, again, you gotta understand, I'm talking about a woman of high competency here.
Right.
If I got two kids and we gotta go on we supposed to be going on a date, and I'm like, yo, listen, or I gotta go to work or something, or just anything. And I'm like, yo, I supposed to be doing this, but my kids is here, XYZ, this, that, and the third. I have to make sure that they're straight before I'm able to do that. Or if we're
Mm-hmm.
dating and I want to go play ball with the boys, or the boys say this, that, and the third, and you call me like, hey, yada yada yada, thought you was going to do this. I couldn't because I have my kids, and I wasn't going. I have nobody to watch them. I don't care. We've been dating 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yo, can you? I mean, 8 months, I guess, but like, I'm not gonna ask you, hey, can you watch my kids? Like, I would
Mm-hmm.
think, that would be more attractive to somebody than whatever. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Right. And I think that's definitely true. And again, people want to marry people, right? People that are happy. And no one wants to marry someone who is doing all this stuff, and then because they doing all this stuff, they feeling resentful. They have attitudes half the time because they mad and they ain't getting married as quickly as they thought they were because they do.
That's what you was doing to me. You gave
I
me a
wouldn't do
time
that. No,
limit.
I wouldn't.
You told me if I ain't married her by the time, but within a year, I had to go. So I had to.
So even in dating with a purpose, there's certain things that you're gonna do, yes, to show that, hey, I'm a person that's ready for marriage. I'm a person that is capable of being married. I'm a person that can hold it down while we're married. And what I mean by that is unite as one. I'm a person who has accepted the fact that once I get married, we become one. We do everything in sync. It's not me or him or us doing separate things. You can show a person that you're ready for that, even when you're dating with a purpose, without going through the lens of all this other stuff that people are doing. Like, you don't have to do all that. As a matter of fact, how this author argued that you're better off not doing all that, because again, if you're doing all that already, what's the incentive to even marry you? Like, at that point, like, if you can just do that, like, why are you even married? Because some people actually think like that. We already doing all this. Why we need to get married?
Yeah, well,
So then you're gonna just be somebody's special friend, and they'll be
I'll be a special friend as long as I got a high dollar insurance policy
special
on it.
friend.
His special his or her special friend they leave behind his or her special friend. As long as that policy say I got about 500 million,
Whatever.
I'll be whatever special friend you. I was very special, wasn't I?
But I'm just saying. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. It's just like it's so much going around, and I don't know. It's funny because the lady who wrote this article is European. I thought that was something that's mainly talked about in the Black community. I guess it's not. But I'm gonna tell you, like, everybody, a lot of people across races are dealing with this whole concept of wifey and husband duties. And it's not a good thing. It's husband and wife characteristics. That's what you need to be showing, that you're ready for a marriage. Your husband and wife characteristic, not duties. Duties make it seem
Oh,
like obligation,
what is
don't
it?
it? Don't
Yeah.
duty make it? I mean, to me, it seemed like
So,
if that's
so
my.
then, what made you think I was a husband? Let's do that one before we get off here. What made you
I'm
think
trying
I
to do
was
that one.
husband material? Because I had no husband qualities. I had to grow into husband qualities, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
That's not true.
No, I don't think
No,
it
because
is.
but no, your character showed me that you were willing to be emotionally attached, and that's something that was big for me. Emotionally attuned to me,
Oh well, yeah,
to deal with your emotions and to.
yeah. Well, that ain't happened till later after we got
No,
married.
that no, it didn't. That happened when you came back that one time, and you was like, you know what? I
Well,
can't
that's
get on the road. And that was early on.
but that
I
was
remember the
because I
date.
was
That was in February.
yeah, but that's because I was trying to do things differently.
Well, that's
Because
what I'm saying. So that's one of the things that made me think, like, okay, yeah, he's husband material
nah,
for a man, and especially that early on in a relationship, to do that. That shows not only that they care about you, because the person can care about you and not really
I just want to have sex.
whatever, but it shows like husband characteristics too. You want a spouse that's going to be able to say, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, or maybe we need to sit down and talk about this. And maybe as opposed to just flying off of emotion. So you want someone that can do that, who can come back and have those conversations with you and can admit vulnerability to you. You want someone a partner that can do that. That's what help hold relationships together, marriages together.
I'm gonna get my kiss because I don't want to use the bathroom. We
Yeah,
spent too much time washing.
we did.
Okay.
We have a. So anyway, we getting ready to go. I have a dog that I got for Christmas that we just trying to keep it from pooping or peeing in the crate or the house, because if you know me, you know how I feel about poop. And so now she's kind of whining like she wants to go out, even though she was out just recently.
She didn't use the bathroom. She peed.
She peed, yeah. But she did poop when I took her right before you took her. Remember? Right before we went to pick up Kyra, she pooped. But anyway, we trying to avoid a mess because it's no fun cleaning up mess. And like I said, I'm a germaphobe, and I have to come back and be like cleaning grout and stuff, and that's not cool at 3:00 in the morning. So we're trying to stay on it with taking her out. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the whole wife and girlfriend duties. We will be back next week. We still kind of trying to think of some the next book that we want to read and go over. There's one called Marriage 101, and then there's another series called How to Love a Black Man and How to Love a Black Woman. They're two different books. So if we do that one, then of course he'll read the How to Love a Black Woman version, and I'll read the How to Love a Black Man version, and we can kind of compare it, or we can read the Marriage 101. So we kind of debating on that. But anyway, we will see you next week. If you have anything that you want us to talk about, feel free to inbox me or to post it on our page, and we will definitely talk about that on our next show. Have a good night, everyone. Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Wait, girl.